Hello, my name's Darryl Lee. I'm speaking to you from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I'm coming to you with a message. Purpose LLC. I am the Executive Operations Director, and what we do is we go into communities around the country, online and in person, and we build teams to solve community concerns, whatever they may be. And we formed this company because there is so much in communities that's not getting done. There is reasons for certain behaviors in some communities and they not being addressed. But we do have representatives in positions that's supposed to be, and I stress the word supposed to be, uh, more concerned about these issues than us. They shouldn't be more concerned about one area than another. Uh, we know we elect city councilmen for for the district that they represent, and we want all that we can get out of those city councilmen. We elect mayors for the whole city, and we expect the mayor to uh, uh, be more caring of the city than any one particular voter. And the chief of police, we expect the police department to be more concerned about protection and serving the communities than us because that's what we pay them for. We don't pay them to just come in and make arrests and not get involved in the communities. And we don't pay them to be more concerned about other areas and very disconcerted about some areas. That's not why we pay them. They are to be concerned about every area, and that's not happening. So that's what Team Purpose does. We hold everybody accountable for what they're supposed to be doing, uh, according to the position that they hold. So we've talked about uh, black on black crime. We talked about crime in areas that should have been addressed long time ago, but because of the lack of concern about fixing the issue, it's more about containing the issue in certain areas and not about fixing the problem. And I talked about how the mayor and the chief of police were, uh, talking about paying overtime to police that's already uh, working to solve a problem that's not being solved. So they're using old tactics that didn't work the last time. They're not going to work this time. It's just going to be a bunch of people, black people, getting arrested and going to jail and also black people getting killed. And we want to hold them accountable for that. We want them to address the issue. And I made some suggestions to community stores. You know, there's something going on behind the scenes in these stores. We talked about the lack of input from the community. That's what Team Purpose does. We get the community involved in what's going on in their community, and we guide them on how to fix it. Uh, we've talked about the landlords. We talked about most of the properties in black communities are owned and managed by people of another ethnicity, another race, and they're not taking care of these rental properties. And the renters are left to just have to live with it, and that's not fair. So we have a system to where if you're renting a house in a certain community and the landlord has proven himself to be not a good landlord, we keeping a what we call a report card. So before anybody else rent that property, they're going to know that this landlord has patched this and patched that. They never fixed the problem. And the last tenants there had to leave and pay another deposit and another first month and last month's rent and all of this here other stuff. We just not going to let these type of operations go unchecked in communities. They have a responsibility. They have to take care of them. Now, the biggest issue I want to talk about today is ignorance. Ignorance is darkness, and ignorance is just you don't know. You know, most people, especially in church, they have been taught uh uh I guess as best the leaders' ability to teach this, they've been taught all wrong. They've been uh, taught how to be by man. God ain't got nothing to do with that, you know. And this part of the message is really for believers. You know, you want to believe that God is everything that you've been taught that He is. But the ignorance part of it, you depending on another man to teach you and uh you know, guarantee you a response from God if you operate in patience. You're always waiting on God to do something. And a lot of the things that man is waiting on God to do, I'm just here to tell you flat out, it ain't gonna happen with God. It's gonna happen with you. You know, and that's why I stress, if you're going to follow God, you need to know Him for yourself. You know, you need to make sure that even though I believe that information that we receiving from the Holy Bible, the King James Version, has been tampered with, and it's been tampered with for the purpose of man to have his way, and it's not God's way. I mean, if you listen to some of the things that man tell you not to do and what man tell you to do, you really need to know what God said about those issues. You need to know that for yourself. You need to stop going and just opening up your head and letting these people pour whatever they want to in your head, and you just go with it. That's ignorance. That's uh the minute you leave the presence of that man and something comes to you and check that information you have, you know, that keeps you going from place to place within yourself. You have no foundation to base what you really believe about God on. And if you don't know who you are, you definitely don't know who God is. You don't know what He created. You don't know what He's put in you. You don't know, you know, your capabilities. You don't know none of these things other than another man told you you have this, but he never told you how to use it. You know, it's always wait, be patient. God will answer your prayers. I've seen so many people waiting on God and they dead and gone now and never got what they was waiting on God for. And that's not a, a, a strike against God. That's a strike against man. Man has to know some things, and you know what he believe in. He got to have proof, understanding of why he believes these particular things. And that's what keeps a man in darkness, because he don't know for himself. And this message is, and I keep saying man, but I mean woman too. You know, and this is a message that I heard from a female. She said that God created woman first because woman is the creator of life, and therefore everything that you've been taught in that process is all wrong. Well, she can't shake me on that, because there's no way I'm gonna believe that, because now you're taking something away from God and you're taking the order of the way I believe things were created. And with that, because I have a foundation and I have proof about what God did in the beginning. I didn't just listen to another man explain this to me. I went back and I read it for myself. And if you're a believer, you know God can get the right information to you. You know, devil can too. But at the same time, if your foundation is right, the devil can't mess with you. He really can't. And I stress that, you know, it's so much control taught to man these days, in these times, that you'll never be free. And when you'll never live the life that you want to live, listening to man, it's not going to happen. He got you locked down. I mean, you get a job, they expect you to stay on that job for 30 years before you can retire. That's now. Now they're trying to jack it up to 35, 40 years before you retire. And it don't start till you're 18. No matter how you look at it, by the time you retire, you over 50 years old. That's 50 years. That's half of 100. I mean, I don't expect to live to be 100. And if my body start breaking down and I start losing my mind and I can't think for myself, to be honest with you, I don't want to be here. I don't want my children, I don't want my family to have to take care of me. And that's me. That's freedom for me. And that's me giving them freedom. Whatever I have right now, it's not for me, it's for them. They'll outlive me. That they'll enjoy some fruits that I have right now because I leave it to them. So when you get a certain age in life, you just don't want to be spending all the little money that you're gonna have coming in on medication trying to stay here. It's not a good deal, but that's a part of control. That's a part of the norm. That's the way America works. If you're going to stay here and you don't have a clear vision of who you are and what you can do and how you can create other things in your life, you just gotta do it. You just gotta first know that you're capable of doing these things, and then you have to do them. You can't. You Most conversations I have, the person that I'm talking to is always waiting on something, and he can have everything he needs to get started right there in the front of him, but he won't because he's waiting on permission from some man to do what he already know how to do what he have everything that he needs to do it, but he's waiting. Why? I mean, we 4 months into the new year, 4 months, and I haven't heard a testimony, or I haven't heard anything about anybody doing anything but surviving this year just like they did last year. And my point for bringing that up is I'm trying to point it out. You, or say you're 20, 25 years old, and all you've been doing is surviving. You haven't really been living, you've been surviving. I got to go to work. I need some overtime. I need some extra money. And, money is clearly the root to all evil, but everybody needs money to live on this earth. They need something of value to trade with so they can eat, so they can have a place to sleep, so they can have transportation. Transportation is needed these days, and all of the businesses. I'm just going to say this and I'm getting a little bit off track, but it is true. The businesses that used to be in certain areas, when a certain population moved out, the businesses moved out with them. So there is no walking to work no more. in these communities. They got to get on the bus or they got to have transportation. I mean, their own personal transportation. You know, you can call Uber these days, but you keep using Uber, you're gonna be broke. I mean, that's another expense. So, you know, it's all kind of traps in life that you can get caught up in, but you can overcome them all if you just do a little bit of research. Stop living like the sheep. You know, stop waiting for somebody else to get you started on a path that you desire to be on. Start living your dreams today. I mean, whatever it takes to start. You might say, "Well, I don't have the $50,000 I need to start my business and to start it off right, you know, and be comfortable." Okay, now you've started, but now you got to look at that situation and you got to bring it down from what's stopping you from doing that, which is the $50,000, and you know, bring it down. Well, I can do this. I can't do this and I can't do that, but I can do this, you know, and you got to keep bringing it down until you get a physical start on working out what it is that you want. Once you get started, you can build it into anything you want it to be, you know, but if you never get started, you're never going to have it. And m- my main purpose for even talking like this is I want to have control over more of your time in this life. You know, mostly Christians. Well, when Jesus come back, it's gonna be all right. It's all gonna be over. It ain't gonna matter. Well, what about while you're here? On my way to this location today, I was riding through a community, and it's like they just don't care. They just waiting to die. You know, I see just a whole bunch of doing nothing. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. And if you think things are not going to change in your life, you're fooling yourself. And if you think you don't have a passion for money, you're lying to yourself. You ain't doing nothing but depressing yourself. And if you know you have a desire for more money, more time, and do nothing about it, that's depression. You know, you creating your own depression. You create your depression every time you show up for work and somebody else you know how to do your job, but they standing over you and watching you anyway. You know, that is stress. That's depression. That is, you know, I want to do something, but I'm not gonna do anything because I might lose the little bit I got. I ain't worried about getting no more. It's just I have to maintain what I have. And that type of attitude in this life is not a good one. If you never get started, it'll never happen. And where you're at right now, if you're 30 years old and above, is where you're going to be when you retire or when you have to stop working. All of your work would be in vain, and it would be whatever you can create from that point to survive until you die is all you're going to have, because everything that you make is still going to be dedicated to something else. You'll never live the free life that you want to live thinking that way. And until your thinking change, nothing else is going to change. Until your motivation change and your understanding of who you are and what you're capable of doing, uh, and moving out, coming out from under the normal control that man automatically have over you once you step into certain arenas. Once you step into the workforce, your time is no longer your time. You done sold it to whoever you're working for. And that's it. And they control how much you're going to make. They control how long you have to stay there to fulfill your obligations. You know, I go in church and I don't no more, and I'm not boasting about that, but You know, everybody, I'm gonna be debt free. I'm gonna be debt free. No, they ain't. God's gonna bless me and I'm gonna pay off all my bills and all of this. And most children, especially boys, and if they are raised by a single mother, the first thing they want to do is they want to buy their mothers everything that their mother was denied: a new house, a new car, you know, everything that mama sacrificed for them, they want to pay her back. Now, this creates a scenario to where if they're going to make this happen through illegal gains, that's putting their lives in jeopardy. So everything you've done to keep them out of that lifestyle makes that lifestyle attractive to them. And they'll take that chance, not for themselves. They really taking that chance for you. They want you to have what you were denied. So it's time. You know, it's time for man to step up and start taking responsibility for what he created, number one. And okay, you have a, a mother of your child who you're married to. You still have a responsibility to that mother. She shouldn't have to take you to the system to get that money. You should willingly get it. Now, some women, you can give them as much as you want. They still hurting for whatever reason, and they're gonna do what they have to do or what they want to do. They don't have to do it to get more. They think they get more, but they don't. You know, so they just want you to feel what they're feeling, and that's where communication comes in. That's where you have to uh, uh, open those lines of communication and start settling some of these things, because it just leads to more and more division, not just between you and the mother, but you and the children. So you have to start closing those gaps if you want things to change. You know, and I was really uh kind of disappointed this morning, you know, as I was, you know, driving through this community, about the lack of concern about the state of their communities. I was disappointed, and it just told me how much more work that needs to be done. Seeing things like that and working hard to fix it, and then seeing it, it makes it feel like you're not having any effect. But I refuse to give up on anybody who deserve better. And my messages are always, and you'll hear me say this a lot, especially the Black community. It's too much division. It's too much uh, willing to just accept things as they are, not even be concerned about making them better. And then you raising children and they get the same attitude. They don't care about the community. They got to tear it down to get that money. That's what they did, and that's what they're going to do again. You know, I mean, we don't really get into taking control of a situation for a moment until somebody gets killed that's close to us. We're not concerned about the person on the next street over or the next block down. You know, we just talk about it. We're not even in the mindset of, you know, we need to do something. We need to come together and do something. And I'm going to encourage more people to sign up for the program to uh, build a bigger team for many more communities to get things right. You know, you don't have to live in the community to be concerned about another community, because eventually, whatever is in the process of being contained in an area, it's going to break out. It's going to come out, and it may affect you. It may not come to your community. It may catch you at the store. It may catch you anywhere. And most of those situations is mental. It's mental and neglect. You have to take control of what you create. I know some children, no matter what you tell them, they're going to do what they want to do because that's their free will in play. And until they learn for themselves, uh, it's going to be a rough life. But anybody who is over the age of 30, you have enough wisdom based on just your own life to share it with the younger person. And there needs to be a team effort of more teaching moments. There need to be a teaching, I mean, a extra effort in creating safe places for children to play and learn how to get along with each other. If I had children today and I seen my son, especially group that grew up together and all of this here other stuff, and then all of a sudden I see the whole group going in the wrong direction, I'm gonna pull them in. And if they don't listen, I'm gonna definitely pull my son out of that situation. I would have the attitude of I'm not gonna let my son get killed or get sentenced to a life sentence in prison because I refuse to uh, be forceful with my authority over him. And little girls is just that much more important. When they build their teams, and they are building teams, and the team is built on the notion of they want to attract more into the membership than they have to build more love amongst each other. And when one go down, they all go down. That's the attitude that they have. That can be a good attitude, but it has to be for the right cause. And they have no cause. The only cause is we need to make money, you know? And if you hadn't taught them how to make money, how to tap into themselves and create opportunities for money. And there's plenty of money in the Black community and definitely in most white communities. But in the Black community, there is so much untapped wealth that it's unbelievable. We spend our money and we don't think twice about it. We accept things that come our way and we just live with it and don't think twice about it. We are so and I say we because I include myself in that too. Even though some of the things I'm describing is far from me, because I refuse to just sit back and let a certain thing, let anything that I'm not comfortable with continue to happen with me. And that's with people as well. I mean, if you do something, and this is me I'm talking about, if you do something to me, and a lot of men are like this, you do something to me that I think is totally disrespectful, and I think, uh, you know, you don't even have to know that it's totally disrespectful to me, but I'm thinking that you should know. And if you don't know, you should know. I may not say anything about it. I'm just going to work on getting away from you. And whenever we have a chance to talk, I'll never trust you that close to me again. But whenever we get a chance to talk, I may explain to you what happened with the relationship or whatever. But at that point, I really don't care. So what I'm doing is I'm distancing myself from people, places, and things, not because I'm hooked on drugs, but I'm distancing myself from unproductive people. You just can't build something with people who just don't care. You can't make them care. even though it's to their own benefit. They are like sheep. They waiting for an opportunity that's never going to show up. And you can tell them as much as you want to, that opportunity ain't, well, you have a lack of faith. No, I don't. I have a lack of interest in continuing a process that don't produce. So it's up to me to go back and review what I've been doing and make the appropriate changes with as much information as I can get. And the foundation has to be strong. When you start believing something, you need a reason for believing it, and that's your foundation for believing it. You can't be shaken. You're gonna, if you're a person that's online a lot, you're gonna find out that it's so much information out there. But if you don't have a foundation on what you already believe, they're going to have you all over the place. 1 minute you believe in God, the next minute you don't believe in God, and 1 minute it's I can do this, and then another minute I can't do it because I found out. No, it is and this part is for my religious people, and this is about the longest message I've done. You think it's hard to serve your God? You are listening to the wrong person. You are getting some bad information, because God's plan for us is very simple. And it don't take all of this shouting in church, and it don't take all of this sitting in a place for 2 hours or an hour to get a little bit of feeling within yourself to believe that everything's going to be all right, because this God is going to take care of it. If that's what you're doing, you really need to check your belief system and see, where did that come from? If you think God is running from you and hiding from you and won't move on your behalf because of something you did, that is not God. This world has a way of dealing with you about things you shouldn't have did, because warning always come before destruction. You just have to pay attention to you. When you find yourself doing something, and then all of a sudden somebody say that's wrong, for you to be thinking like that, and before you make an adjustment, find out where you got that information from that allowed you to do that, and then ask yourself, is it really wrong according to God's law? God got very few laws. Man got many. God has few. You decide. You're going to be a sheep, or you're going to be a king. You're going to take authority, or you're going to continue to let others have that much authority over your life. The choice is yours. Thank you for watching this video. And again, I will encourage you to subscribe to this channel, like this channel. And, it's too much to put in one video. So please stay tuned. More information is coming. Hopefully, I believe this information is helpful to you. If you're in a situation to where you're feeling stuck and you see a dead end at some point in your life, if you keep doing things the way you're doing it, that's what we're here for. We have substance abuse. We have cognitive behavior therapy. We have uh, 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 programming that takes you back through, your life, and find out where you picked up these bad beliefs and bad habits, and then show you some truths and give you something to ponder on. All you have to do is talk to the therapist, and they'll take you through a process to where you're going to see for yourself where you missed it at, and where you denied yourself some life because somebody else put some fake belief in you that you never should have had. You never should have had to deal with. You should have been free from that. And it all starts, if you're a religious person, it starts in the beginning, in the creation. People say, why is it important for man to know the truth about the ethnicity of God? It's because that's where it all started at. And anything that interfered with anything that God did, it contaminated everything from that point on, because a lie was told, and it was told for a reason. And that reason, if it corrupted the whole world, that's a problem. That's a big enemy, and it has to be corrected. You know, it's just as important to know who or what was in the beginning as important as it was to whoever changed that beginning, and they made it into something that it really wasn't. It was a flat out lie. And it's in your belief system. When you bow your head to pray, I'm pretty sure an image of Jesus is a white man. That's how strong that lie was when it started. And they changed everything to back up the lie. So thanks again for listening to this video. If there's something else, I'm gonna say it, and I'm not gonna do that. This video is already long enough, but there's more to come. And I encourage you to whatever needs you have as far as your community is concerned. You have a son or a daughter that's been arrested. We have a nationwide bail bonding service. Uh, if you want to get untangled from the criminal justice system, we take you through a process so that can happen as well. Don't let your worst moment in life dictate how the rest of your life's going to be. You can keep playing around with it and, keep getting away with certain things, but you're really not getting away with it. You're just building a record on yourself that's going to haunt you every time you make a mistake. So again, Darryl Lee, Team Purpose, Executive Operations Director. Send us an email, teampurposehelp@yahoo.com, or give us a call at 225-755-9215, and we'll set you an appointment and we'll discuss whatever your concerns are. Thanks again for watching this video.